Welcome back and happy holidays. We are Eric's Drink Whiskey Miller here.
Simpson here.
And as promised, we've led into the holiday season with some of our favorite holiday flavors, with a couple of kind of special bottles. The Russell's Reserve Single Barrel Rye, High West Midwinter Nights Dram, Noah's Mill, and the Maker's Mark 101. The other one. So what we're going to do now is get you set up to maybe be able to intelligently buy bourbon for that special person or persons in your life, or a coworker or boss, whoever you want to buy whiskey for. We're going to kind of talk you through some bottles that aren't going to break the bank, that will kind of fit into a couple of different buckets. So we're pretty excited about that. We've got a nice little list made up. The first group we're going to go through, and Eric's going to take us there pretty soon, is just bourbons for people that maybe don't like bourbon or you don't know what they like. They're going to kind of be some well-rounded, very accessible bottles. And then we'll jump into kind of some more fine-tuned selections. So lead us in, brother.
All right. So right now, if you know anybody that is kind of dabbling in whiskey, kind of in that novice category, there's a couple of these big name. You can kind of go after. I would recommend Woodford Reserve, just their regular small batch bourbon that they do. It kind of hits some. I hate using that term smooth, but it's a very approachable, and it's not offensive.
It's like what, mid 80s, 90 proof.
I want to say it starts. I want to say it starts in the like, I don't know, 86 to 90, something like that. But yeah, it's approachable, and it doesn't look bad. Like it's packaging.
No, it's
packaging
a beautiful bottle. I mean, that's what kind of kept me away from it for years, because I was like, oh, I can't afford Woodford Reserve. It tastes good.
Mm-hmm. And Maker's Mark is our second pick. Now, for anybody turns their nose up, Maker's used to be the expensive bourbon back in the day, and you know, they had their little slogan that they would showcase everybody. If it tastes expensive because it is, or something like that. It looks expensive because it is, but they got it going on with their red wax, the old timey label they have. It's 90 proof. It's a weeder. It's a very approachable. And very affordable too. I won't say it's what, $30 maybe.
$30. And if you want to, you know, as they're opening it and they're like, oh, you got me Maker's Mark. The one thing to say, it is a weeder, so it puts it in the same playing field as the old Smellers and the Van Winkle stuff. You know, that same kind of flavor. I wouldn't be sad if I opened up a box and somebody got me a bottle of Maker's Mark.
I have no issues with Maker's. Like, I get it. If someone bought me Jim Beam White Label, I would yell at them. But someone bought me Maker's Mark, I would not be upset.
Jim Beam Bonded, I might be like,
yeah,
okay.
Straight peanut brittle. All right, number 3. So it's kind of an off the wall one. And remember, we're saying bourbon / whiskeys. So there's not going to be any.
Technically not a bourbon.
Yes. So we are picking Jack Daniel's Single Barrel, the 90 proof.
Yes, not the cask strength.
Right. So I don't know if you go in the store and you see these bottles, they are gorgeous.
I got the cask strength right here. It's the same bottle. It's a different colored label. But no, it's this really dope, like, I mean, this thing's real bougie.
Yeah, you get one of those, you know, and everybody's like, oh, I'm going to break down the Jack Daniels. I ain't drinking that Jack Daniels. No. It's the Single Barrel.
And it's really good, actually. For somebody who would probably turn their nose up at Jack Daniels. The Single Barrel is really good. It's if you know somebody who drinks Woodford already and you want to kind of kick it up a notch, get them the Jack Daniel's single barrel. It's a similar flavor, but it's got kind of a little oomph to it.
All right. So that's where we are at beginner not beginner whiskeys, but whiskeys for beginners. There we go. Now remember, everybody, we are trying to stay under that $50 to $60 range. I know we kind of flirt with some of these, but we're trying to stay under that. So,
I mean, you can run out and get somebody a bottle of Pappy 23 if you want to, but
yeah. But this is the list for gift ideas for beginners and whatnot of all types of varieties for 50-ish bucks or less. That was our goal.
And actually, all three of these first ones are sub 35, I think.
Is that single barrel sub 35?
It's below 50. It may be closer to 50. Again, talking out of my ass. I know the single barrel proof is like 60-ish.
Yeah. List.
Next, and this is one that a category I fall into. Wink, wink. And that is high rye. If you've got a friend or colleague or family member that says, "Oh, I like spicy bourbon," or "I'm a rye guy," or mention the words high rye, this is kind of be the category that they fall into. And we got a couple of decent selections here. The first being Four Roses small batch. Not the small batch select, the small batch. The small batch runs about $25 to $30. And as we've talked,
like ovicular bottle, right?
Yeah, it's kind of a very curvy. It kind of resembles a Crown Royal bottle a little bit, but without the fanciness. It sets itself apart. If you heard us talking about Four Roses, they've got kind of the 10 different recipes and stuff that they use. Their small batch is 5 of 10 blended together. Just a really great product. Second, and I know we have discussed this one in no uncertain terms, Basil Hayden's. This is another of Jim Beam's small batch lineup. This is their high rye mash bill. Basil Hayden's 80 proof, and about $35, $39. The one thing Basil Hayden's has over a lot of these other ones, they got some really good packaging. Got a really cool wrapped label. I think it kind of played on the Maker's Mark thing. A banner I saw at a liquor store for Basil Hayden said, "It looks like a gift because it is." So it's really good. I know a lot of people who absolutely love Basil Hayden's. Not a fan of it personally. I like a little bit more proof to my bourbons, but it's a good one for the price.
I've never heard somebody say that Basil Hayden's was off-putting. Only that
it could be
watered down,
hotter. Yeah. Nobody has drank Basil Hayden's and said, "Oh, this is shit."
Yeah, I never heard that. So take that with a grain of salt.
Another high rye pick is 1792 small batch. This is another $30, $40 bottle. Kind of another weird shaped bottle with a big gold 1792 on it. Go ahead.
Good marketing.
Good marketing. Yeah, it's a great looking bottle. And be sure you're going for the small batch. They do have full proof, which comes screaming in at 120 proof. They've got bottled in bond and some other things. So in addition to burning your taste buds off, they're going to hit your pocketbook a little bit harder. So again, 1792 small batch is a high rye, absolutely delicious. It's one of my favorite high ryes, actually.
Anyway,
and the last one I would recommend was actually one of my very first bourbons, and I think this is why I liked it, because I was trying to get away from that sweetness, and that's Bullet. I don't know that Bullet gets a lot of love, but it's a pretty decent bourbon. It's decent. I've got regular Bullet. I love it. I've got Bullet barrel strength, which is everything you want out of a hot barrel strength rye. I've got Bullet 10-year, which is fantastic as well. So
also underrated. Fred Minnick he always talks about that. He's like, nobody ever talks about it. This is damn fine bourbon, and it's affordable, and it's 10 years old,
and it's cool looking. Like, yeah. I think their thing is frontier bourbon, and it's a really cool bottle. I think
Old ass Western bottle.
yeah. So that's our high rye picks. Four Roses small batch, Basil Hayden's 1792 small batch, and Bullet. You won't let your high rye loved one down with any of those four. Now, next, I think you're having me jump over to the wheaters, aren't you?
Yes.
Okay. So wheated bourbon. Again, this replaces rye with wheat, as we talked about, as made famous by a certain gentleman whose bourbon you can't find now. But we got a couple contenders in there, and we featured some of them on actually in a previous episode when we were doing mash bills. First, Larceny. This is a Heaven Hill product, 94 proof. Kind of an interesting looking bottle, but it is a wheater. It's good. It's $29-$30. Drinks pretty well. It's got a little bit of a bite to it, but I like it fair enough. I've only got like a quarter of a bottle left. The other one, also appearing in this category, is Maker's Mark. Got to mention it. If you don't feel comfortable giving your wheat loving family member or colleague a bottle of regular Maker's Mark, up the ante a little bit with a bottle of Maker's 46. That's the same Maker's Mark juice. They've just done some additional oak finishing, so it's going to be kind of Maker's plus a little bit of some oak. And then the last one, this is a little bit harder to find. I think it's just creeping its way back into liquor stores. And this is a Luxro product. And I think they've rebranded it as Rebel 100. It used to be Rebel Yell 100. And it's Luxro's 100 proof wheated bourbon. It is
One
retail
of
is
years on the market.
It's absolutely delicious for $25. I had the chance to snag a bottle or two the other day, and I was like, holy crap, I paid $25 for this. It's absolutely delicious. So that's our leaders: Larceny, Maker's Mark, or Maker's 46, depending, and Rebel Yell 100 if you can find it. Truly great products. Again, all below, I think the Maker's 46 may be $35.
Yeah. But you know, still,
I know it can't be any more than 45 because that's how much cask strength costs. Tell you what, if you need a gift idea from me for your favorite YouTube bourbon co-host, anything on this list that we're providing you will suffice.
If you get a random box from Flaviar,
that'd be fine.
If there's a Russell's 10 or a rare bird or a rare breed,
why don't you jump into
my boys, the classic.
Getting back on track. So we've hit bourbons for people who you don't know what they drink, or they don't even know what they drink. We hit high rise for the folks who like it spicy, and we hit some wheaters. Now, my brother from another mother is going to take us through bourbons that really hammer home that classic bourbon flavor profile: vanilla, brown sugar, caramel, oak. And he's also going to hit us with some cask strength numbers as well before we kind of go to some of the more gimmicky bottles.
All right. So that classic bourbon flavor. I mean, Eric said it best. You're looking at the vanilla, caramel, brown sugar, a little bit of oak, and also non-offensive. None of these are going to send your face off. These are going to be just very approachable, very tasty, but these are what I consider bang for your buck classic bourbon profile whiskeys. The first one is one of my favorites, and that's Russell's Reserve 10-year-old small batch. So this is 90 proof. It is a Wild Turkey product, but under the Russell's Reserve moniker. It is at least 10 years old. Rumored there's older stocks in there, so you get even more bang for your buck. But like I said, it's $32 at Total Wine. $32. That's $32.
And ABC. And it is the official sponsor of Eric's Slurred Words tonight.
It's just Slingle barrels in there.
Slingle barrel. Russell's Reserve 10-year Slingle barrel.
10-year. Wild Tucky. So now our number 2 that we picked is our Elijah Craig small batch Kentucky straight bourbon. This one is also about $30, I believe. It's rumored to be a blend of 8 through 12-year-old Heaven Hill bourbon, but like I said, it's $30, and it's as classic as a bourbon profile as you could get. That, and like I said, 90 proof. There's nothing. And I know we're sounding, repetitive, but there's nothing offensive about it. It is solid bourbon. And there's one YouTuber I always listen to, and he picked it up. He picked up a bottle of that, and he goes, this is just if you like bourbon, this is just good bourbon. There's no frills. There's no. It's just damn good bourbon. That's just what it is.
Way back when, before we were the famous YouTube stars, somebody recommended Elijah Craig small batch to me.
That was me.
And it is the cat's pajamas. You drink it neat, you drink it on ice, you drink it in an old fashioned. You can't mess it up.
Right. All right. So wrapping up the classic bourbon profile, this one may be a little bit of a differentiation, but the marketing on it is pretty awesome. So we have Evan Williams single barrel. Now, everybody has heard the moniker Evil Williams. Well, that's because they drank a whole fifth of it in one night.
Who said that?
They drank a whole fifth of it in one night. Evan Williams is solid damn bourbon. Now, when we're talking about little cool gift ideas, this is a waxed tip bottle. It's a single barrel. It's around 6 to 8 years old, depending on your vintage, but it is age stated at least, and it's 86 proof. So if you want something, and it's the same recipe as Elijah Craig because they came from the same place. If you want something a little bit more approachable than Elijah Craig, give Evan Williams a try. It's just a little bit lower in proof, and it might hit that taste profile just a little bit more if you want something a little more sippable. Diving into our high proofers for the whiskey drinker at Christmas time that just wants to singe their face off for an affordable price. All right. So first up is one of mine and Eric's favorite high proofer, and that is Wild Tucky. Wild Tucky rare breed. This bad mamma jamma comes in at 116.8 proof, a very smooth high proofer. Just kidding. It is delicious. It is just bursts of flavor, brown sugar, dark cordial cherries. It just blasts your face off at $45. It's a blend of 6, 8, and 12-year-old Wild Turkey at they try to keep it at a relative barrel proof from those ages. So it comes in at 116.8. And like I said, $45.
It's absolutely delicious. And this is the most important thing for the bourbons on this list. It's everywhere.
It is everywhere. You can find it. All right. Now, this one, surprisingly, it's not hard to find. It's just you might have to go to a mom and pop place to find it versus a big box. So now we're talking about Old Granddad 114 OGD. So this is, in the Old Granddad line, it's a Jim Beam product. This is their high rye recipe. All right. This is their high rye bourbon. It's 114 proof. You'll see a little pattern here with some of these. Now this one, it's going to have a completely different taste profile than the rare breed. Like I said, this that
shit is
that profile is going to hit you more with the rye and floral notes more than anything. It's just it's a very It's not a heavy pour.
But this is Old Granddad 114. Compared to some of the others, the packaging is like, hey, 1980s. But what's inside is damn good. Cask strength, Jim Beam, high rye bourbon.
$25 to $30.
Yeah, $30 at the high end. This big chunky bottle, but it's really good.
All right. And now wrapping up with our final barrel proof, high proof, whatever you want to call it, Maker's Mark cask strength. Now, Maker's Mark cask strength. What's it? What proof does that come in? It's 111 proof. Is that it?
But I think it varies. But yeah, it's between like 111 and 113. I
think the one that I got for Ben when he was born was 114 proof
to celebrate his birth.
Oh, right. No underage drinking.
Congrats on being born.
Anyway, yes, I think it was 114 proof, but it was that old squat bottle. Anyway, but no, this flavor profile. I know it's not necessarily in the high rye category, but this flavor profile kind of is a mix of Old Granddad and a lot of not vegetative, not the word. A lot of intense floral flavors. Hold on, can you hear them kids just squawking in there?
No.
Okay, good. Never mind.
It's to me, it's
not heavy.
It's not heavy. You know, we did Maker's 101 because it had kind of that cinnamon flavor.
Mint too. It was minty.
Herbal.
Herbaceous was the word.
Herbaceous. I think Maker's cask strength just takes that to another level.
Yeah, it's very herbaceous. It's like I said, it's three different profiles between those three.
Right.
You know?
And the only commonality they have is they're all cask strength,
and they're all relatively around the same proof. You know.
Yeah, proof and cask strength, but they do not taste the same.
Right. Now, Mr. Miller, wrap us up with some gimmicky trash.
Some gimmicky bottles. You only want me to wrap us up because of the first bottle on this list.
It's the last part of the list.
It is the last part of the list. So, okay. So these are all just kind of daily drinkers, keep on the shelf, things that make good gifts, but somebody's actually going to drink on a daily basis, that you can find easily. This last section is kind of a more, they don't really fit into a category. They're either because of their packaging or their release. They're not, I don't want to say gimmicky, or
they're gift whiskeys.
They're gift whiskeys. Perfect gift whiskeys.
Kind of like what we said about the Jack Daniel's single barrel. Like, you know, you pull that bottle out and I was like, damn, that's a fancy bottle. I'd put these in that category.
So the first one, I'll start at the bottom of the list so we finish on a high note. High West Double Rye. So High West, I believe, is still uses Midwest Grain Products rye whiskey. Their double rye is a blend of a 16-year-old rye and a 2-year-old rye. So what that gives you is a really crazy blend of still kind of some of that corny, just absolutely black peppery sharpness and a very well-rounded herbal flavor of that very well-aged rye whiskey in one bottle. High West has a fantastic packaging. It's that long, slender bottle. Looks like, you know, John Wayne would throw the cap off of it and drink it right on the back of a damn horse riding over the Rio Bravo. Really good. I think it runs about $35 to $40. And you can find it just about anywhere High West products are sold. It's a pretty easy find. The next one on our list, this was another one we featured last week. And this is Maker's Mark 101. They called it a limited release, but I've seen it on the shelves everywhere since about June.
It eventually will be a normal release.
Yeah. It's the same maker's mark that everyone loves at 90 proof, just at 101 proof. It gets some guff because it's only like 10 proof points below cask strength and only $10 cheaper. But, I think we both agreed when we tasted it, and we can do a 90 versus 101 versus cask strength later on down the road if we want to. But it's different. There's something different about it. Get a lot of bubble gum, a little bit of mint and herbal and cinnamon. It's just a really good whiskey for $35. Next up the list, Woodford Reserve Double Oak. So what this is Woodford Reserve that has been finished in a second new charred oak barrel. So this is perfect for people like me who maybe find Woodford Reserve a little too sweet. And that's just my flavor profile. My go-to is something that's going to absolutely singe my face off. So don't take me as the litmus test for this. So it's Woodford Reserve finished in a second new charred oak barrel. The oak and the char really cuts the sweetness of cuts the sweetness.
Your own bottle.
But yeah, it's that Woodford Reserve-y, sweet and kind of chocolatey, banana-y with a little extra oak on it, which makes it perfect for someone like me. And they run about $35-$45. And actually, your bigger box.
Enjoy that oaky profile of a really gold version of Wild Turkey.
And actually, most of your big box stores now will have a Woodford Reserve Double Oak barrel pick that may be around the same price point. So if you really want to razzle dazzle them, get them that. The next one, our second to last gift bottle, is actually one that I just recently found out about. It's called Legent. This is a Jim Beam product. It is the marriage of the Beam side of the house and the Suntory side of the house. It's actually a collaboration of the two kind of halves. And the label will show it. You've got the bust or the kind of profile of Fred No on one side, and you've got the profile of Shinji Fukio on the other side, who is the master blender for Beam Suntory on the Japanese. For those of you who don't know, and we really haven't talked about it, Japanese whiskey works a lot like Scotch. It's identical ingredients, and they go with the blending method a lot more than bourbon producers here in the U.S. do. So what they did with Legent, Fred No cranked out some bourbon, good old Jim Beam bourbon, and it's a blend of just regular old straight bourbon whiskey and bourbon whiskey that one's been finished in a port barrel and one has been finished in a sherry barrel. Now, if you're a Scotch drinker, like yours truly, your mouth is watering at this point. So Fred made the bourbon. Shinji comes in and blends them together into this absolutely fantastic creation of Legent. 90 proof. This shit's $35 and is absolutely amazing. You've got your typical bourbon notes, which fantastic. Then you've got some of your sherry finish notes, some of your port finish notes, and it's just all one. It's an experience. And for $35, it's an absolutely beautiful bottle. It's in my other cabinet, so I can't really pop it out real quick. But it's absolutely fantastic. Definitely makes somebody happy. If they're a bourbon drinker and a Scotch drinker, I think it'll definitely tickle their fancy. So our last gift, chintzy, gimmicky gift bottle is Eric's absolutely favorite Wild Turkey product. Wild Turkey Kentucky Spirit.
Yes.
Now, I'll describe it because I don't trust Eric to do it with justice. And I'll go ahead and pull out my bottle right here to show you.
Let me go get the old fantail because some places still have them. So this is what we call the Wild Turkey Fantail bottles. So this is before they switched to the newer one, which Eric is going to show you. But call it Fantail because it has kind of the depiction of a turkey tail kind of fanned out in the back. But this is Wild Turkey.
Wild Turkey Kentucky Spirit is a single barrel 101 proof of Wild Turkey. Does it taste like 101? It sure as shit doesn't.
It's 8 years old.
It's 8 years old. And it really doesn't taste like anything else that Wild Turkey has. And because it's a single barrel, it's not going to taste like anything else either. Now we did find some commonality between our two bottles. No, you had another Total Wine bottle, didn't you?
Well, ours was.
You weren't drinking from the Fantail.
No, we were drinking from the same, like the copper front.
So this is the current iteration. It's the rare breed bottle. It's got this super sexy, like coppery brass Wild Turkey Kentucky Spirit label on it, and then all the baseball card stats down on the bottom. If you buy it from the same store, even if it's different time points, it's probably going to taste pretty damn similar.
Yeah.
Either because the person picking it has the same flavor profile, or it was part of the same shipment and they're still cranking it out, because Eric seems to think that people don't like this. I enjoyed it. The particular bottling that we got for that he and I reviewed together was really good. It had some really great notes to it. The problem is you just don't know.
I will reiterate why I don't like it. It's not because it tastes bad. It tastes great. It is great whiskey.
It's the value, because
that's the only reason.
Russell's Reserve 10-year, which was on our classic flavor list, $32. This fella right here at 8 years old, 8 years old?
Yeah,
8-ish years old. Just because it's a single barrel and has a sexy bottle is like $55.
Yeah.
So if you're a budget conscious bourbon consumer, you're going to go.
But it looks better than the Russell's bottle.
It does look better. It's a very sexy bottle. I hope he's not watching. Probably going to gift a bottle of this to one of my friends for Christmas. And if he is watching, oh well, sorry.
You better not be doing this YouTube show. I'm just kidding.
I know better than to give you a damn bottle of Russell Kentucky Spirit for Christmas. So anyways, yeah, Kentucky Spirit, it's bang for your buck. It's really not there. Is it a pretty bottle though? Is somebody going to open this and be disappointed in it? No. Yeah, it's a really pretty bottle. It's actually a really good. This bottling was a really good bourbon at 101 proof, and that's why we included it on our list. This has been the Eric Street Whiskey Holiday Bourbon,
the single barrel edition,
single barrel Holiday Bourbon Gift Guide. Probably pretty this up, put in a PDF, and somehow link it to our YouTube video. Share it on Instagram just so everyone has it. But
hey, where can they find us, Eric?
What's that? Oh, you can find it on the Instagram. The handle is at Eric's_drink_whiskey. Posting all kinds of crazy pictures. That's where we'll post our gift guide for bourbon. Also, you're already on YouTube. Give us a follow, or give us a subscribe, and hit that like button on our video. We'd really love to know that you're following us, and also you'll get notified when we post videos. Be the best way to get in on the ground floor of the action. We're also going to tout our videos on Instagram, but we really want you to know what's happening on YouTube. And then we're also floating around somewhere else out there in the internet, aren't we, sir?
Yes, sir. We are on Shout Engine and Apple Podcasts. We have taken Shout Engine.
And what?
And Apple Podcasts.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. So what we are doing is we are taking the raw material that we are using for our video, and because, for YouTube, for time constraints and blah, 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 we're having to cut stuff down because Eric and I will either yammer at each other, get in a pissing contest, have a love bro fest or whatever, and we'll dive down about 30 rabbit holes. But you're going to hear all that wonderful goodness on our podcast. We're not editing it. It is EDW, Eric Drink Whiskey, NCF, all stands for non-chill filtered.
Get all the oils.
And
all the oils.
All the oils, all the congeners, every juicy detail.
And we do this because for every 20-minute video we post on YouTube, Eric and I sit here and drink whiskey for about an hour together because we don't talk to each other any of the rest of the week.
Nope. I don't eat public subs at all during the week, and I never talk to Eric Miller.
Although somebody must have brought leftover soup today.
I did.
Mm-hmm. I know.
I called someone else.
Bitch.
It was my
Anyways, we hope that this episode has been helpful. With a couple shopping days left in the season, all the liquor stores have their flashy box sets that you get a cup or you get some bitters or whatever. We hope we've armed you with some information to buy intelligently for that coworker, that boss, that colleague, that family member that may or may not drink whiskey, but that you want to give the gift of America's native spirit to. We enjoyed this. We actually had to put our thinking caps on for this to come up with these lists. And shout out to my co-host over there for helping me out with it. But we've really enjoyed it. Again, if you feel so led, anything on this list, I think either of us would be perfectly happy receiving in our stocking Christmas morning.
And having a stocking big enough to hold
the bottle of bourbon.
Yep.
Right. But until next time, folks, thank you for joining us. We hope you've enjoyed it.
Have a safe and happy holiday season, everybody. Cheers.
And cheers.